Today from Western Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana, Prime presents the 15th stop of the Brunswick World Team Challenge. Welcome to Indy, the home of the greatest spectacle in racing. We're at Western Bowl. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Armstrong, along with Jan Schmidt. And Jan, we've seen quite a spectacle this weekend. Our front row looks very, very impressive as we get ready to begin this race. And let's begin with our number 3 qualifier, Windy City Bowling News.
Well, Windy City Bowling News, Dave, they're strong from top to bottom. The first 3 players, they were all recent members of Team USA. They were all members of the team that finished 3rd in Las Vegas. The 2 newcomers, professional Cindy Coburn-Carroll and Michelle Mullen, well, what an addition they were. I watched them throw many doubles this weekend, so watch out for them in the 9th and 10th frames.
Now in our first match, they'll be meeting Lynn's, who finished as the top qualifier in Las Vegas and then finished 2nd.
Well, this team has really proven themselves. After losing that championship match there, they've come right back and qualified 2nd here. I'll tell you, they've got 5 talented players, but Kim Kennedy was really the star of this team this weekend. She out-averaged the field with a 232.8, so don't count them out either.
Well, sitting in the pole position here in Indy is Contour Power Grips, and they have been in the pole position all weekend long.
Well, Dave, they've got something that the other teams do not. For those of you at home, they are not a put-together team. They're just like you league bowlers. They bowl together on Monday and Wednesday nights in league. They know each other. They know each other's games. This kind of team camaraderie could pull them through, but the one thing they do lack is some television experience, so we'll have to see how that affects them.
All right, Jan, we've got the green light. We're ready for this race to begin. We'll be back with our first match when we come back to Western Bowl at Indianapolis in just a moment. Challenge is brought to you by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. By Lynn's Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn's Shoes, the choice of bowlers worldwide. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. More top players are switching to Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. By Bud Light, offering the $25,000 Perfect Game Challenge. By the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada, bringing you the lucky roll of the match. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide. We are set to go with our first match. Lynn's taking on Windy City Bowling News. It'll be Windy City Lisa Vint beginning. This is a 2-game match, Baker format. You see the number 16 for Lisa. That means she bowls in the 1st and 6th frames of each game. And leaving just the 4-pin, so a good start for Windy City.
Nice opening shot. Lisa's a strong leadoff bowler.
Contour Power Grip starting the lineup, brought to you by the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. It is quite a lineup. A lot of Team USA members on this squad.
Some wealth of experience on this team.
And an opening spare for Lisa Vint and Windy City. So now Marcy Williams. Marcy, who feels like she is the least qualified on her team, says she's there for comedic value, but she also is a pretty good bowler, averaging around 190. She does keep the team loose, though. Never get it to come back to the head pin.
I'm sure she's glad that that's off her hands. You know, they talked about how nervous she was in Vegas, but I talked to her right before the show, and she said she's still just as nervous, maybe more so, on this telecast.
And here is the Contour Power Grip starting lineup for Lynn's Shoes. You see Williams, then Beamish, Manley, Norry, and Kim Kennedy. Kim has been quite an anchor for this team. Good spare shooter, stuck at the line. We'll get it anyway.
That's good concentration, a good lesson for people at home also. Sometimes you do stick or slip with the approach, but if you have your arm swing nice and loose, going in the right direction, try to just take up the shock with your leg and continue your shot.
And watch how smooth Pam Inlow's is. High on the head pin and leaves the 3-6-10.
She also told me she was a little bit nervous. I asked her how much TV experience she had. She said before today, 6 shots. So she had 4, in Vegas, and 2 in a previous Team USA show.
Just 21 years old, a student, and a member of the 94 Team USA. The 94 Women's Star of Tomorrow. And a good spare.
Notice how she went cross lane at that spare. That's normally easier to pick up all the way across the lane rather than taking the chance of the ball hooking away.
Leslie Beamish. The match we saw in Vegas, Leslie had a terrible time with splits in that match. Solid pocket hits that would result in splits. This time a solid pocket hit results in the strike.
I'm sure she's glad to have that one done. I watched her the last few games, and she still had a lot of trouble carrying. Wasn't quite leaving splits, but just wasn't carrying out 10 pins and 7s.
And now the experienced Lucy Giovinco. Lucy, 38 years old, now an office manager, 3-time Team USA member. She'll have just the 10th pin remaining.
That was a real nice shot by Lucy. Notice she's changing to a little bit shinier surface ball. Drilled to go a little bit longer down the lane so she can go at her 10 pin and not have it hook switch. There's a look at her shot. She's playing right around the second arrow, almost directly over it, just a little inside. Ball went really long. See how late it's flipping? That's going to cause the 6 to just go in front of the 10 and lay down in the channel.
3 spares so far for Windy City, and now Stacy Manley. And another up, and they do. The early lead belongs to Lynn's.
Big double for Stacy. 13 pins for Lynn's shoes.
Remember, this is a 2-game match. Total pins for the 2 games. Terrell. And high. Ooh, lucky to trip out the 10.
Ooh, she got a big break on that one. Appears that the left lane is finishing pretty hard, although Lucy's ball did go long. That ball finished really hard right the last second. Qualifying average of 219. She was the high average on their team.
Look out. Hang on, and it does. With the 4. So Cindy Coburn-Carroll with the spare to keep the string alive for Windy City. And now Lynda Norry will try to make it 3 straight for Lynn's. Over and leaving at 6-10. Now Lynda Norry, an experienced bowler herself, member of Team USA in 91, 90, 89, and 92. 2-time Collegiate Bowler of the Year, Lynda Norry.
And she, too, like Leslie, had some pocket split problems in Vegas getting the carry. With that ball there, she just never got it to the right. It was off her hand early.
And the spare, so everyone has covered so far in this first game of this first match. A 13-pin lead remains for Lynn's. And now Michelle Mullen.
And there's experience for you showing right there. She's deeper than the other players. She's in around the 3rd arrow, inside of the 3rd arrow, going all the way out to about 10. Ball finishing, crossing 7 boards at the end.
Kim Kennedy now. With a strike for Lynn's. And as we head to our first break, it's Lynn's shoes with a 13-pin lead. We come back in just a moment. 1, Lisa Vint now up for her 2nd time for Windy City. They trail by 13. Got outside and never had a chance to come back.
Okay, and that was probably an adjustment. Lisa's first shot on that lane, she left the 4-pin, the ball finishing a little bit hard. She wanted to make sure she got it out, gave it some room, but it appears Looks like there's almost an out-of-bounds type of shot where if they get it too far right, it's going to stay there. There's a lot of oil to the right of 10.
Lisa, the editor and publisher of Windy City Bowling News, a member of the 1994 Team USA squad. They won the gold medal, by the way, in the team event in the World 10-Pin Team Cup in Malaysia. Well done. You know, so important, Jan, in Baker format, in any format, I suppose, to cover those spares. That is probably the key thing as we've watched this progress here in the World Team Challenge. Make sure you cover each frame.
Right, it's very hard to make up for an open frame, even more so in Baker's system, because each player is only getting 2 shots a game. It's hard to get lined up and it's hard to get loose.
That one never will come back either.
Okay, that
was a tough spare.
It was the same as her opening shot. Got it to the right, missed the head pin right.
See what I mean, though? Cracking up her teammates despite that shot. And you see high game contour power grips. You'll see them later. They're in the lead right now. And Windy City with an 11.28. Look at that, 11.94. Those are big numbers there.
Those are huge games. Those are scratch scores for 5 bowlers.
Look out. And an open frame for Linz. So Linz comes up with an open frame in the 6th frame. And that allows Windy City to come back to within. Actually, Windy City takes a 3-pin lead.
Now, these players got here by qualifying. Those games you saw were bowled during qualifying, and it was 6 games of qualifying. Each player bowled a full game each of those games. It was just like a 5-man team in your league would be each game.
High games, more or less tap it at 299. Kim Kennedy, you see here for Linz, had a 290. In fact, had 2 290s. Look at Joey Biondo. Wow, a 737 series.
Cindy Coburn-Carroll right there with a 727.
Yes. Nicking the 6 pin. All she needed.
That looks like trouble. I'll tell you, some of these players do look awfully nervous. You know, and for all these players, well, except for Cindy and Michelle, this is their 2nd Team Challenge show. But I think they're feeling more pressure now. The first time it was kind of, all right, we made it, and they were thrilled. Now they know they can make it. Now they're trying to win. It's a different kind of pressure.
Leslie had a strike her first time up. Oh, that's
great shot.
A good shot. So following an open frame with a strike, that's the way to get the job done. And here we are heading to the 8th frame, a 2-pin lead. Remember, game 1 of a 2-game match. Now Lucy Giovinco.
38 years old. And Lucy mentioned one of the unique things about her game is the longevity of it. She's got a style. She can just continue bowling. Leaving the 3-10 split there, she's going to shoot this the same way she'd shoot a 10-pin or the 3-6-10. She wants to hit to the right of the 3-pin and deflect the ball into the 10.
What's the percentage of bowlers of this capability of making this?
Oh, I'd say 80%, 85%.
Never got the 3-pin. So it would not come back. There's that out-of-bounds area you were
right,
talking about.
exactly. And you noticed even on Pam's ball shooting at the 6-pin just before that, it appears that if they get it to the right too soon, the ball is just continuing to slide. It's not gripping at all.
So a chance for Linz to expand their lead with a double here. And an out-of-bounds shot, and lucky to leave just that.
And here's a look at Stacy. She's got a 4-step approach. Moves the ball actually before she starts. Watching her release, she actually pulls her arm through to the left and then goes back out to the right. Kind of just a basic style, like you'd see a lot of people at home, and she does very well with it. There's a lot of ways to knock pins down.
Come in. Boy. A single pin pair right now proving to be a bit tricky.
You know, Dave, I should point out that these players bowled today. They bowled 9, well, let's take a look here, 11-pin lead for Lynda Schmidt. They bowled 9 sets of 2-game matches, Baker system, but they bowled at the other end of the bowling center, and the lanes had broken down quite a bit. So they're used to the lanes hooking more today. Now they've got to come back and adjust to more of a morning condition.
Coburn-Carroll with a strike. A much-needed strike for Windy City. By the way, in the match play earlier today, Linz defeated Windy City 402 to 338. Linz won the first game of that match 224 to 170, and they won the second game by just 10 pins. Norry trying to set up the 10th. A little bit high, and the 4-pin results.
That's a pretty nice shot. Just came up a little bit high.
Lynda, 2 gold medals in the 91 Olympic Festival, 3 gold medals in the 90 Olympic Festival, 4-time collegiate All-American.
Lynda also bowled on the Pro Tour for a while. And here comes Michelle Mullen, and I'll tell you all that I saw today. Every time Cindy Coburn-Carroll struck, Michelle Mullen came back with a strike right after in the 10th.
201 possible for Windy City if she strikes out. Oh, that's the worst happen bowling. The 8-pin tap.
Oh no, well, she made the shot, and there is nothing that can be done about that. An excellent shot. There she is, out to about the 12th board or so, ball coming in hard. See how it drives through, sends the 5-pin straight back. The 5-pin should have taken out the 8. The ball drove through a little too hard. That happens nowadays with some of the new resin equipment. It tends to drive through harder than you want.
Well covered, the 8-pin. We'll get one more ball in the 10th. And a 181 possible with a strike.
And Lynn Shoes is on a 191 pace. So they're really close.
Should be a 10 to 20 pin lead for Linz going into that second and final game. So it's still anybody's game here. And the 10 pin. So a 180 start for Windy City Bowling News. Now Kim Kennedy will try to distance Linz from Windy City.
Well, Kim Kennedy, too, was very strong in the anchor position. She threw strikes. Well, I should have counted them, but I'll bet you 7 of the 9 matches she threw strikes in the 10th frame. At least one of the games today.
Bounce that one up there. The 5-pin goes.
That ball off her hand a little bit early. Get a good look at Kim Shoes' all the approach with a 4-step approach. That's long strides here. Watch her wrist in the backswing. She turns her wrist, she closes it, opens it back up, and has to get back closed before she releases. Nice deep knee bend. Normally very smooth releasing the ball. That one came off her hand a little too soon.
Up a 21-pin lead heading into game 2 if she gets one more strike.
And what a big shot that was.
You see Kim with the highest qualifying average. Look at that, almost 233. As we head into game 2 of our first match. We'll return to Western Bowling. First match of the day here featuring Lynn Shoes and Windy City. Marcy Williams will start off for Linz in game 2. We're at the halfway point, and Linz has a 21-pin lead. Oh, what a start. Marcy Williams with the strike.
Okay, now note Marcy missed the head pin right both times on the right-hand lane. So yeah, it appears maybe these lanes are playing differently. We'll watch as each of these players make a shot on the opposite lane. I think there might be a little bit more finish on lane 75. Lane 76 appeared to have a little more out of bounds.
try to answer, and does.
She certainly had no problem adjusting, although she left a 4 in the left lane and then missed the head pin right. So I don't know if Lynda's chose the better lane they thought to start, or if they think they're on the better lane now to finish.
They had the option being the second qualifier. Leslie Beamish will try to double up. But high. Ooh, lucky to see the 7 and 10 go down, leaving just the 4.
Right, and exactly as I just mentioned, it does appear that lane 75 is finishing just a tad bit harder. That ball was sitting back on 76, driving through too hard on lane 75.
It's important in the Baker format, Jan, to watch your teammates and watch the reaction of that ball.
Yes, it is, and a lot of these players were able to get reads off of each other, and they did it throughout Baker's system.
And she covers the 4. Mark in the second.
She's laughing. She had a little trouble with that release there. Wasn't sure what it was going to do.
Now Pam Inlows. Double up. Nice ball. That's the lead for Lynn. Down to just 10 pins.
And Pam Inlows, a very strong player, tiny player, throws a 16-pound ball, a 5-step approach. Look at the long strides. Watch her weight. She gets it forward. Pretty high backswing there. Weights forward. Heel lifts up. Look at that. She's got all her weight forward. That's where she generates that kind of power.
10-pin can't trip out. 6-pin just goes into the channel. Stacy Manley will have the 10 remaining. 10 pins the difference now in this match.
You know, on Pam's shot there, she had struck. She had gone high in Brooklyn on the other lane. So it does appear with most of the players, the lines they're playing, that 76 does not have as much backhand as 75.
Yeah. Oh, boy. A big miss. Now the match is dead even. A chance for Windy City to make it 3 straight to open the game. Remember, $25,000 to any team that bowls a 300, courtesy of Bud Light. That's a good start. Windy City back in the lead again.
Great shot by Lucy.
So Windy City starts off game number 2 with 3 straight strikes. A turkey for Windy City to give them the lead. And we'll come back with this match in just a moment. Boy, how quickly this match has turned around. Lynn Shoes had a 21-pin lead heading into this game, and now they trail by that many. We head to frame number 4. Lynda Norry will try to get Lynn Shoes kick-started again here after an open frame in the 3rd. Side.
Right, and Lynda was actually high on the right lane, and she did make a move on that left lane. She moved deeper and actually moved more. She's going to have to get very deep, similar to where Michelle Mullen was playing on that lane.
Oh, you betcha. A foot bagger. Wow.
Ball hit really light. Fortunate to carry it off.
Now Kim Kennedy. He has struck 4 times. And a double up right here. Good adjustment. Good adjustment. Wow.
Great shot. She watched her team, figured out where she needed to play. That's what team bowling is all about. It was interesting, Cindy Coburn-Carroll's approach was, she said even if she didn't strike, she was just trying to make a good shot because she knew if she didn't strike, she could line Michelle up so that Michelle would strike.
For 5 in a row. Oh, yeah. is waiting if somehow Windy City can get to 300.
Okay, she's in just about as deep on that lane, not sending it out as far. They're only about to the 13th board. Hitting pretty half pocket, but kicking out the 10 pin.
All smiles right now for Windy City. Not only a chance for the 300, but a 21-pin lead. Marcy Williams will try to keep pace. She had a striker last game, but again, as she did in game 1, leaving it wide right.
Even though that lane is hooking more, it's hooking more to the left of 10, not to the right of. Oh, she got that probably out to about the 6th or 7th board. It won't come back from out there.
Marcy keeps her smile though, and now we'll go after the 1-2.
I'll tell you, that kind of team spirit, that can really hold a team together. She's a really great inspiration to them.
Second time now for Windy City, Lisa Vint, who started this game with a strike. And since then, 5 straight for Windy City. Here we are in the 6th. Nope. Never got back.
She got that right to that out of bounds area again. See how far right she got that ball. Actually about 10, but sending it right at that point. Got it out to probably about 8, and it will not turn over. You see that ball never made a rotation at the back end.
And she gets the spare. So the lead is 20 for Windy City. We're coming back with the conclusion of match number 1 in a moment. Lynn Shoes, a spare for Windy City. The lead now 17 as we head down to the nitty-gritty. Frames 8, 9, and 10. Here is Stacy Manley trying to double up and cut the lead to 7.
Big shot.
And a crossover. Oh yeah, big break there to trip out the 5.
Oh my goodness. What a break for them. That was a nervous shot. That ball was never right of the center of the lane. Runaway Brooklyn, we would call this. Looks like the 3 or 9 pin came back, tripped the 5 pin forward.
That'll make a smile. Now Lucy Giovinco.
Good shot.
A little bit high. 6-10 remains. So the lead has been further reduced now to 5.
I thought that ball would hold. It wasn't quite the speed that Lucy normally throws at. The ball broke a little bit more. As the nerves build, you generally don't throw quite as hard.
Almost clipped just the 6 and missing the 10, but tripping the 10 out, and a 5-pin differential now, and Lynn Shoes a chance for them to take command with a strike here in the 9th. They've got a good one in Lynda Norry to try to do just that. She crossed over with a Brooklyn striker last time. Crossing over again.
Oh my goodness. Wow. This has to be fate right now. That's 2 huge breaks in a row. She tried to get that one to the right this lane. She just can't get the ball to skid through the heads. About as solid a Brooklyn as you can get, though.
What a seesaw match. It is back in Lynn's control now, leading by 5. Cindy Coburn-Carroll now trying to strike in the 9th. A lot, but a tough split at a tough time.
This is a tough one, especially this lane isn't finishing as hard in the middle of the lane. She needs to go to the left of the 2 pin. Send the 2 pin over into the 10. She's going to take her harder surface ball, which is interesting. I thought she'd play for more of a hook with her strike ball, but she's going to try to go straight at it. Good shot.
Oh boy. So a costly open frame for Windy City in the 9th. Boy, they had a 21-pin lead once upon a time. But Lynn's has come back with 3 straight strikes, and now Kim Kennedy with a chance to shut him out. Checking out that score to see what the possibilities are right now. A lot of it depends on Kim Kennedy. Make it 4 in a row. Oh, is that a good ball?
What a quality player, I'll tell you. Kim Kennedy will just, I don't even know what to call her. Just coming through in a clutch time after time after time for this team.
Well, let's see. In the first game, she had a strike in the 5th, 3 in the 10th. In the second game, a strike in the 5th, 1 so far here in the 10th. And now just needing 1 pin to clinch it. That's at least 1. More than enough.
Great shot.
Lynn Shoes will move on to face Contour Power Grips. Our top 2 seeds advance to the championship match. What a comeback for Lynn Shoes. Lynn's was leading by 21 heading into this game, fell behind by that many, and then came up with strikes in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. 2 of those on the Brooklyn side. And Kim Kennedy finishing up here in the 10th frame for a 225. Impressive for Lynn Shoes.
Well, I'll tell you, they're going to have to figure something out. A couple of their players on the left-hand lane, Lynda Norry is going to have to make a giant step left if they want to be in contention for this final match.
Well, these lanes are obviously different. So Mullen will try to strike out. It won't be enough for them. A 228 possibility for Windy City. But with the 21 pin deficit they started this game with, it won't be enough. They can win this game, but not the match. And boy, what has Michelle Mullen done so far? Strikeout. Here in the first game. 3 strikes so far in this game. Michelle Mullen has certainly lived up to her end of the bargain, being in the anchor position for Windy City.
And Windy City now is going to try and go on after making 2 of the telecasts to the final team challenge in June and try their luck in Baltimore.
With a 227 finish, they win the game, but not the match. And Lynn's will move on. There's some other finishers. In 4th spot, it was Pro Shop USA. They made quite a move. Sherman Towing was in 4th or 5th pretty much throughout the day. A Hoinke Classic team out of Cincinnati finished in the 6th spot. In 7th place, it was a team from Missouri made up of all-stars from that state. In 8th place, Players Corner Pro Shop out of Aurora, Illinois. And 9th from Cleveland, it was Academy Blue. And in 10th place, Brash's Pro Shop out of Westminster, California. They came a long way. Final score here, Lynn Shoes wins match number 1. We'll go around the bowling world when we come back to Indianapolis in just a moment. Turbo 2-in-1 grips. More top players are switching to Turbo 2-in-1 grips. The Women's International Bowling Congress's new magazine, WB for the Woman Who Bowls, has won a prestigious award even before celebrating its first birthday. The quarterly publication earned the Gold Circle Award for Most Improved Magazine from the American Society of Association Executives. WB for the Woman Who Bowls is available to any WIBC member and currently read by more than 500,000 subscribers. WIBC recently announced its 21st All-American team. Anne-Marie Dugan made the team for the 4th consecutive year, this time as captain. She won the 1994 WIBC Queens and finished 2nd in 5 LPBT events. Aleta Sill makes her 5th appearance on the team after winning the PBA LPBT mixed doubles and 3 other titles in 1994. Also selected, veteran LPBT star Tish Johnson, first-time team member Marianne DeRupo, and Australian Carol Giannotti. Bowling's youth organization, the Young American Bowling Alliance, recently had its record book rewritten by Kelly Reniger of Nontoursville, Pennsylvania. 17-year-old Reniker set 3 records when she rolled games of 300, 300, and 238 for an amazing 838 series, which included 29 consecutive strikes. Our championship match is coming up next from Indianapolis. winner's seat for this tournament. And now we'll see who gets the checkered flag. It'll be Lynn's taking on Contour Power Grips, and Marcy Williams to begin. Marcy with a strike, 2 spares, and an open frame in the first match.
Okay, let's see if Marcy's settled in now. I think she'll get the team off to a good start.
Knocking out the 6-10, leaves just the 4-7.
Okay, looked like it was going to be a good shot for a minute there. Finished a little hard again on lane 75. Almost left the 4-6, 7-10. Fortunate to kick out the 6 and 10 pin.
Marcy out of Wichita, Kansas. The 91 Kansas State Queens champion. Good friend of Gordon Vatican, the Wichita State bowling coach. Spare to begin for Lynn. There's Dick Denny and Hall of Famer Bud Fisher. Keeping track, Dick Denny of the Indianapolis News. They're keeping track and figuring out who's going to win between Lynn's and Contour Power Grips. It'll be Lisa Bishop to begin for them.
On her opening shot. I don't know how many of you were watching her eyes, but that concentration was tremendous. Her head never moved from the start of the approach to the finish, and the eyes were glued on her target. She's changing balls here, a harder surface ball. Going at the 2-4-5. Some people change for that spare, some people do not. This is going to go straighter than her strike shot.
Perfect.
Look at those eyes. Watch the face, watch the head. Very steady, eyes not flinching. Locked on her target. Kind of goes down with the rest of her body. Ooh, that's some tough concentration there.
And now, we talked about her in Vegas. Leslie Beamish with the eyes of a gunslinger. Watch how she squints at those pins. A bit high. Oh, the dreaded 7-10.
And like I said earlier, they were going to have to find something on lane 75. And maybe it was a smart move. Contour Power, I believe they probably made them start there. Even though Lynn shot a good game, they did carry a few Brooklyns, didn't appear to be lined up. So I think Contour made them start there. So Contour might get off to a big start.
First open frame for Leslie, just the second open frame for Lynn's overall. Leslie in the first pitch had 3 strikes and a spare. We'll take a look at the Contour Power Grip starting lineup, brought to you by the pioneers of the finger grip industry. It's Bishop Allen, Jeannie Gebbia, Jody Monday, and then of course the professional Aleta Sill in the anchor spot.
She's never been on TV before. I asked her if she was nervous, and she said no. It's very rarely the answer, but she said, no, I'm really not. I'm comfortable with my teammates and ready to bowl.
See Manley trying to follow that open frame. A little bit light. You can see they're still trying to make that adjustment.
That lane, they have to get extremely deep. I think they need to be playing between the 3rd and 4th arrow. They need to find the fold to their left. They need to tighten it up. They can't open up. What I mean by that, they can't go as far right as the 9th or 8th board. They need to play between the 3rd and 4th arrow at the arrows, going no farther right than about the 13th board.
Five. Hang on. Oh no. 5 will not go down, and open frames back to back for Lynn's shoes.
Trouble here, they're not getting the breaks that they were able to get in the last match against Windy City Bowling News.
Now Jeannie Gebbia. Tight line, a little bit too tight though, and the 4-pin stands.
Nice opening shot, looked very close to the hit of Carmen's. Carmen tripped the 4, Jeannie did not. Jeannie's a strong player, confident player. She's been around quite a while. She's, bowled a lot of WIBC Queens tournaments and nationals and Team USA. She's been around, so she's going to be pretty steady here today, I think.
Just as you say that, she misses a single pin spare. When you talk about opening the door wide for Lynn Shoes, that cuts the lead to just 12 for them. Well, you can see it on their face, too. The momentum may have switched over to Lynn's with that open frame for Contour Power Grips. We're in the first game of our championship match.
Okay, she moved deeper on that shot.
It helped. Remember, she had 2 Brooklyn strikes on that lane in the last game.
There it is. That was a big jump left with her feet and her set down point. She actually got to the ball to the same area, but set it down a lot farther left.
Now, Jody Monday. She owned the 1 regional LPBT title. Got it outside again. There's that area that just won't come back.
Jody holding the ball waist high to start, a little bit above, a 5-step approach, really classic style. All the steps pretty close in size, nice smooth arm swing, nice and relaxed. No kink in the elbow, no bend in the wrist basically. Watch her get down, she snaps through really hard and clean. Nice aggressive follow through. Good basic game. If you want to model a game, take a look at hers.
What a shot. Oh my. That looked good all the way down, and somehow the head pin eluded the 10.
That's a great shot. That's all you can do. You're trying to throw the head pin into the 10.
Now a chance for Lynn's to go back on top. Boy, after those 2 open frames, numbers 2 and 3, you would have thought Contour Power Grips would have opened up a wide gap. Now Kim Kennedy, she has had 6 strikes in 8 possible frames. And some team staffs, Contour Power Grips, you see they qualified. And look at their Baker average as well. 202. These are impressive numbers. Baker usually not that high. And in match play, Contour and Lynn, each with a 6-3 record. Windy City, who was eliminated. And there you see Contour in the number 1 position all the way along. Lynn Shoes kind of vacillated between 2 and 3. And the cover for Kim Kennedy on the 10 pin.
So these 3 teams were in the top 3 through the entire tournament.
They never let anybody else in the game, did they?
And that match play was determined by, they were 2-game matches. They got 15 points for each game won, 20 points for total pins won for the 2 games. And the match play record was determined there by who received the most points in that match.
Aleta Sill. Well, the only left-hander in our championship match.
First good look at Aleta coming off of money-winning record-setting season. One pin lead.
Contour Power Grips was back in front by 1. And now Marcy Williams. You almost get the sense that if you can survive the left lane, the right lane is much more forgiving. Good shot by Marcy. She'll have just the 10 pin.
That was a really nice shot for Marcy. Looks like they're getting lined up, but don't forget now, they all have 1 more shot on this lane, and that's it. Then they move to lane 76. She also got deeper, just around the 3rd arrow, sending it out to about 12th board. Good shot. 6-pin flew around the 10. Didn't lay down in that channel, but unfortunately didn't knock it down.
Hang on. Oh, no. Throws it in the channel on a 10-pin.
As I'm watching all the players slide by a lot over there, it's almost... I don't know if they want to go to their plastic ball. There seems to be so much oil to the right over there.
Good point. Now for Lynn Shoes, Jan, just 1 open frame in the first match, entire first match, and 3 open frames here in the second. And Lisa Bishop trying to double up. And does. A big double there for Contour Power Grips. And they surge in front again by 23. So we're at the halfway point of game number 1. For Carmen Allen for Contour Power Grips, which expands their lead to 33 now.
Wow, I have to see if Lynn's has a comeback in him again, just like the last match.
Crossover. Defense mistake. They still have not figured out that lane.
No, they haven't. They really need to try and hang on here and shoot their spares, because you don't know what's going to happen when Contour has to go over to lane 75.
In case you just joined us, it's a 2-game match. Total pins for the 2 games. But a championship package awaiting the team that should get the checkered flag here in Indianapolis. And only over $2,000 in prize money. But you get 5 Brunswick bowling balls, 5 pairs of Lynn shoes, 5 championship rings, a sponsor's award, 5 airline tickets to the Grand Championship in Reno, 3 double rooms at that Grand Championship, and a shot at a projected $50,000 prize fund.
You know, the 3 teams that win over these 3 team challenges will be going, and also a team, Team USA, a women's team, and a WIBC championship tournament team, intercollegiate bowling championship women's team, and some international representatives also. Great event for women and women's bowling.
National Collegiate Tournament next weekend. Getting the 5 pin is Jeannie Gebbia. You see our situation here as we head down to the last 2 frames of game number 1.
Okay, if Lynda and Kim can strike out here, it could really set the tone for the next match.
Well, didn't get it high enough again, but again crossing over. She's had great success on this lane with 4 strikes, but 3 of them have been on the Brooklyn side.
It doesn't often happen. You know, I thought that she had it lined up. She made a great shot last time. She just gets it. It looks like she reached out, set it down a little bit right of where she set down the ball the last time.
The open frame the last time. Remember, she had the 1-2-4-10. Made a good shot, but couldn't get the 10 to fall. And now she's mother-in-law back there.
Jody was very strong throughout the match play today. TV might be playing a little effect on her with a little bit of nerves.
You get nervous when you're on TV bowling?
Not so much anymore, but you know, when you're bowling as a team, I think you have more nerves than if you're individual.
Good. Good shot by Jody Monday. That's a big lift for Contour Power Grips. Well, now Kim Kennedy, who's been extremely successful today, has a chance to cut into that lead.
You know, team bowling, pressure of TV is hard enough, but when you're up there and you know there's 4 players sitting back there depending on you, I think it makes it even harder.
First time we've seen Kim cross over.
That lane may be breaking down even more. It appears they're having to keep moving left, and the more moving, the more it's hooking.
It'll be interesting if Contour will notice how much it's breaking down. There's Pearl Keller, National Director of the WIBC. She's heading back to New York after this.
Fine lady, and she'll be out at the tournament in Baltimore helping to coordinate things.
She will. So a spare for Kim. She'll get 1 more ball here in the 10th frame, and a 164 possible for Lynn Shoes in this first game.
And that right there is the difference between getting those breaks on the Brooklyns the last time on this lane that they had and winding up with open frames instead.
3 open frames in this game. Solid one there from Kim. Kim Kennedy. As Lynn Shoes a 164 finish. 204 possible for Contour Power Grips if Aleta can strike out. Aleta, the 94 U.S. Open champion. She owns 24 LPBT titles. Got it.
Nice shot, good trip on the 6 and 10 pin. And here's a look at how you win 27 titles. A very basic game, 4-step approach, kind of stutters herself to start there. About a shoulder high backswing, nice straight even arm swing. Good rotation on the ball. Not a real cranker, not a straight player. Kind of a stroker in between, and gets the job done consistently.
Well, if you're going to get a split, that's a good time to get one. When your team is a commanding lead, and it's the final ball of the game. Chance for a 194 if she can convert this. The lead will either be 29 or 30 as we head to game 2. Remember, the conditions on the left lane seem to be a lot trickier than on the right. So a 193 total and a 29-pin lead for Contour Power Grips as we head to game 2 of our championship match.
Barstools of Glendale.
Power Grips to start game number 2 of this 2-game championship match. And they started with a 29-pin lead. Here's Lisa Bishop. And again, she goes high.
They get over to lane 75. Obviously finishing a little more, hooking harder in the back ends towards the middle of the lane.
It's got to make you feel a bit uneasy if you're the rest of that team. You're seeing that shot. Tough spare here too. 369.
Extremely tough the way the conditions are right now in particular, because if she gets it left too much, it's going to hook. If she gets it right, it's going to slide.
Good shot for Lisa Bishop.
Perfect, about the only place that she could have put it to pick that up.
Marcy Williams getting set to go.
And Lynn Shu's team was gathered together in between the break here, and they were discussing how they were going to play this lane, how much difference they needed to move. Good team effort.
Strike for Marcy Williams. Good start.
Big start for Marcy. It looked like it did hang up on her hand just a little bit.
Let's take a look at Jim Doty, Vice President of Royal Pin Leisure Centers. Hosted the men's event a couple of weeks ago. And Carmen Allen.
She's had 2 strikes on the right lane.
There it goes. Again, they just can't find the line on the left lane.
You know, I'll tell you something. When you're lined up on one lane, even though they watch the other team continually go left, it's very hard for you to believe in your mind that you might have to move 6, 7, 8 boards to the left. Unfortunately, they're going to have to, and this is the way sometimes lanes are in league play and at home during practice, and sometimes it does get that way because of a certain amount of play on one lane versus the other. So you just need to learn to make those adjustments.
Oh, another good shot. Boy, 2 good spares for Contour Power Grips here in the second game.
Great shot, and notice both of them. Notice she used her strike ball on that, didn't switch to a harder plastic ball, so that she could get the break back through that out-of-bounds area. Yeah, baby.
Now she sits and watches. We'll have one more chance. Here's Leslie Beamish. Beamish got 2 high. Now she'll have to try to convert the 3-6-10.
That's what's so hard. She goes over there, she's trying to make a guess how much tighter that lane is. It's very hard to guess, and now she has only 1 more shot, and then she's done. So, difficult thing. Baker system, very difficult. Very fun, though. It can be rewarding.
Dropped it. Look out. Just chopped the 3. Oh, boy, a costly frame for Lynch here in the second. Now, Jeannie Gebbia. Jeannie was the 91 Detroit Women's Bowling Association average leader. She averaged 218 that year. And high on that head pin.
Okay, that's 3 for 3. There's 1 more. Of course, Aleta, we don't know what the left side lane is doing over there.
She's totally guessing on the left side.
Right.
It may be more similar to lane 76 on the left side. We don't know until we see her make a shot.
The advantage for her is the oil doesn't get pushed around as much on the left side. The condition does not change as much. Contour Power Grips continues to fill frames and make things difficult for Lynn Shoes to now trail by 40. They've got to get started again after an open frame. And here is Stacy Manley.
Jeannie changed balls on that spare ball, and I believe she's going to stay and go with that. She shot a 3-pin. Now she knows how to get to the pocket.
Big shot there. Big shot there for Lynn. Might be just what they needed. Their scoreboard now through 3 frames of this second game. Lynn Shoes trying to make up a 29-pin differential. They've not done that. Trailing now by 40. Here is Jody Monday. She got it figured out.
Great shot. You can see her standing up there, counting the boards, moving to the left. Good guess off of watching her teammates, but like I said, they bowl together in league. They know the differences in their games and similarities, and they should be better able to read off of each other.
To cut the lead in 30. Yes. Here come the Lynn Shoes. Don't count them out just yet. Down by just 30 again. Double there.
Might have
Chance for Aleta Sill to double.
Might have to call in the comeback team.
They got down 21 in the first match in game 2 and came back to win that one.
After those pocket splits that Lynda Norry left in Vegas, the 4-9, the 8-10, she's certainly having no trouble striking here, being repaid.
Oh, by Aleta Sill and the 8-pin won't go down.
That just an excellent shot. And they didn't need that at this point in time, but the ball drove through a little bit too hard. Obviously, that lane finishing a little harder on the left side as well. They're going to have to work to stay up now. That can really bring a team down. You need a double, you make a great shot, and you don't get it. It's hard to stay up.
Kennedy, chance for the turkey for Lynn's. She has 7 strikes today. 3 spares, 7 strikes.
Now don't forget, this team has bowled on this lane in the last match. So they're trying to guess right now off of that where they played it last time, but it appears it's broken down a little bit since they were on this lane. Normally it'd be an advantage that they had been on it, but there's been so many balls thrown on it since then, it could almost be a disadvantage.
But Lynn's really needs this. This could be a real boost for them.
Great.
Oh boy, big shot there. A sigh of relief from Kim Kennedy. So we step aside. We've got a half a game to of Bishop for the respective teams. The lead stays at 32 for Contour Power Grips. It was 29 when we began this game.
Exciting strikes they were, too. Lisa Bishop sent a messenger across, took out the 10-pin, and what a reaction out of her. These teams are really motivated right now.
Crossing over, that seems to be the shot on the left side. That expands the lead to 42 and really puts the pressure on Leslie Beamish.
She really has to strike here. This time coming through. In Vegas, she had a clutch shot. Didn't carry out the 5-7. Not quite enough lift on the ball. This time came through, ripped through the shot, blew all the pins out.
Jamie Gebbia trying to make it 3 straight. Oh my. What a time for that.
And it really looked like that ball was was going to hold and sit back. And just like all the other we've seen on lane 75, just making that late turn. She's going to probably, I don't know if she'll go for this or just go for the pin count. I guess at the lead they have, I'd go for pin count right now.
She's going for it. So an open frame here in the 8th for Contour Power Grips, and this one has not been decided yet. Lynn's feels like they're back in it again. Checking out that scoreboard.
He just got a reprieve.
Need to try going. They lost it.
Fortunate not to have a 10-pin up. I know they need strikes, but she needs to pick up this spare, give them a chance in the 9th and 10th. That was right from the very beginning. No rotation on that ball at all. And into the out-of-bounds area right away. It wasn't going to come back.
Cover the pins with the ball like that. Just like that. So a spare for Lynn's to keep them very much in it. Just down 18 now. Oh boy, it's all coming down to the 9th and 10th frames. Could be some if it came down to a shootout between Kim and Aleta. Jody Monday with a strike, a solid one her last time off, and another one. There for Jody Monday.
That's important, setting that up in the 9th frame. Pretty deep, getting it out to the 12th board. Good lift, good rotation on that ball. Splits the rack. Come on.
Lynda Norry trying to get a mixer. Aleta Sill has to mark in the 10th frame.
Good solid cover.
If Sill gets a mark, it would lock out Lynn's shoes.
She left a solid 9 on this lane last time. She might make a slight adjustment. This ball doesn't drive through so hard.
That's a pretty good adjustment. Wow.
It's actually the 8-pin she left last time. That ball also didn't appear that she moved. Ball finished just as high, just as hard, tripped out the 6 and the 8.
Well, you know, the big move for Contour Power Grips in this game, I think, came from Jody Monday, going in both the 4th and 9th frames. She had strikes in each of those 2 frames on this tough lane, and both of them were solid. You might say rainy days on Monday always get Lynn's shoes down. A 199 finish for Contour Power Grips and a 392 team total.
And Lynn's shoes, once again, the bridesmaid.
Kim through another. Went down. Delayed reaction struck. She was already resigned to the fact that she was going to have to go after the 9. Took a while, spinning, spinning, and on the second time through. Lynn's shoes is going to win this game, but that 29-pin differential separating these 2 teams after game 1 proves to be the difference. Kim will try to close out this match with yet another strike. Boy, Kim Kennedy came on like gangbusters for Linz. And they finished with a 206 total and a 370 team total to lose by 22. It'll be Contour Power Grips heading to Reno for the Grand Championship later on this year. And coming up, we'll be in Edmond, Oklahoma in a couple of weeks, the week after Easter. Then Norcross, Georgia. 76 teams entered in that. In Dublin, California, out near San Francisco. In Baltimore, that's another women's event in June. In Kansas City, that's coming up June 10th and 11th. And later that month, it's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then one more women's division team in Baltimore, June the 3rd and 4th, and also the Grand Championships. Don't forget that. Open and women's divisions.